Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another weekend virtual cafe. I'm excited to have you all on the call, and I'm sure we'll have a few more joining us. For those of you who don't know me, I think I've met most of you, but my name's Kerry Ramsay, and I'm the project manager for the We Can project, which stands for Women Entrepreneurs Can. It's led by Queen's University and funded by FedDev Ontario. And the project has been around for almost 3 years now. And during this time, we've held a number of these virtual cafes as forums and areas of discussion. So we can just get together and talk about a certain topic. And those topics come from the audience. So I'm excited today that we're talking about this idea of asking and giving, because as women, we don't always ask for what we need or what we want in our business. So we want to get into that routine and just normalize asking for what we want, as well as sharing. If we have something to give today, I mean, hey, it's the holiday season, so we can talk about that sort of thing. But really, it's meant to be an open discussion to share resources, share some ideas, and hopefully to help you even maybe push past a barrier that might be in your way today. So as we're getting started, as we always love to do, please do take a moment in the Zoom chat. Go ahead and drop a link to your business. It's a great way to network with the group. You never know who might be here, who could perhaps benefit from your product or services, and of course, a great way to collaborate. And while you're doing that, I will acknowledge that Queen's University is located on the ancestral territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee peoples. And here in the We Can project, we are so honored to have more than 100 Indigenous women entrepreneurs benefiting from our free programs and services. And I know that some are on the call today as well. So it's just so wonderful to be a part of this community and to see the impact that this has had on all businesses, but Indigenous businesses are near and close to my heart for sure. And so thank you so much for joining us today. Hi, everyone. As we're getting started, please do take a moment to drop a note in the Zoom chat. Let us know where you're connecting from geographically, if you like, or just put a link to your business. We would love to get to know you a bit better today. So thanks for those of you who are already taking care of that. So if you haven't been a part of a virtual cafe with the We Can project before, welcome. You're not probably the only one who's a first timer. So let's just shed that feeling of nervousness or uncertainty. The virtual cafes are meant for us to discuss a topic. And today, as I mentioned, this is our ask and give session. So I would love for anyone in the chat who might want to say, I'd love to go, or I'd love to share, or I'd love to ask, go ahead. And that will help me to keep track of who we're going to hear from today. Of course, we'd love to hear from you all. Because there are a lot of folks on the call and some still coming in, let's limit our participation to a couple of minutes in terms of our ask or our give, and that will allow a little bit more discussion to come around that and to allow us the time to get to as many folks as we can today. So we did one or two ask or gives previously. Some of you may have taken part. So if you're not sure what it's like, you can sit back for a few minutes, just watch how it unfolds, and then jump in when you're ready. All right, so is anyone interested in going first? I'm just going to check the Zoom chat. I know there's a lot of chatter here about where you're from. Would anybody like to kick it off today? And honestly, I have a smaller group. You can certainly just raise your hand as well, and I can call on you if you feel that's easier. I should mention, if you don't want to be on camera or voice your ask or give, you can always put it in the Zoom chat and I'll read it out loud, all right? Okay, so who's going to be the bold one to go first with an ask or a give? We're waiting on you. Yeah, Chantal, you're up first. Go ahead.
Hi, folks. I created a very short networking course, which is online, and it takes about half an hour to watch the video or listen to the video, read the transcript, and there's some optional homework, and it just helps people move away from that fear of networking to realizing that networking can be fun and that you're already doing it. So I'm going to put the link to the course in the chat.
Now, remind us, is that a free course? Is that a free resource?
It's a free resource. It's a free course. Yeah,
and that's, I just want to jump on that point because I didn't make that one. That today, the ask or give sessions, it's asking for guidance, resources, and offering something for free. So not that you have to discount your rates, but it's not a selling session, let me put it that way. But that's why the Zoom chat is there, to see your links, so we can definitely go and purchase if we'd like. But yeah, it's sort of this idea of what might you have. Thank you, Chantal, for putting that, because yeah, networking is so key here. And I love the Friendly Forces spin on it, because Chantal's background is military. Very cool. Anyone else who, oh, and do you have an ask today, Chantal? Something that perhaps you have that you'd like to find out from the group?
I'd like to share one more free thing, and it's just something I learned this week, which I think is revolutionary when you're on social media. You know how you can tag people in your social media posts like LinkedIn and Facebook? If you go to the tagged name, which might be Chantal Fraser owns a business, blah, 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 you can hit delete until you've only got Chantal left, or you can go from the front and hit delete, so that you're just left with the person's first name. And it just makes the posts, like when you're replying to somebody's posts on social media, it just makes it so much more personable, and they still get the link to their name, they still get tagged. So I thought that was revolutionary. Cheyenne's nodding her head, she probably knew this already.
You know, and these things we discover by doing, don't we? And I know you're right. It lit up my life to realize I could do that on LinkedIn and Facebook. I don't know. You just said Instagram, right? Though I don't think I realized.
Oh no, I just said LinkedIn and Facebook
Oh,
are the only
LinkedIn,
two.
yeah.
Cheyenne might know more.
That's really cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Those are those little hacks, those little behind the scenes things we discover. Yeah, if you have anything like that to share, hey, I found this really cool resource or this little hack. Those are cool too. All right, who would like to go next? Thanks. Oh, did you have an ask, Chantal?
I have an ask. If we're connected on LinkedIn, or if we're about to be connected on LinkedIn, I would love you to comment on my posts. That's just a comment. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be like, ooh, that makes sense, or yes, like just a comment, because it helps drive my traffic and it helps me connect to more people who would be willing to buy my services.
So brilliant. Yeah. And that's one thing that we encourage in the Weekend community. When you drop, like, we will follow you if you follow us on Weekend Queens U is our handle on all our socials, because we know that that activity helps to drive engagement, especially with that algorithm. So thanks for that. That's a great, easy thing that anyone can do. All right. Who would like to go next with an ask or a give here today for the group? Oh, go ahead, Rayna.
Hi, everybody. I just had to unmute myself. Good morning. So my give is I have a human being, a person in Jamaica who handles my social media, and they are a journalist. They handle my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, and they have a lot of talent. Their rates, his name is Wayne Benjamin. His rates are amazing. And anybody who needs a social media manager, it's so hard to wear so many hats. But what I'm thinking is that if he can help any of you beautiful women, that would be amazing.
All right, so great referral, great. And that's another thing that you can give. If you've had a great experience with a social media manager, a bookkeeper, an accountant, a website developer, those are the most popular ones that I get asked for. By all means, if you've got a give that you can refer to somebody today, that's a great thing to give. And now, Rayna, did you have an ask today of anything that would be helpful to your business that maybe the group could comment on or offer a resource?
Well, I run two businesses. So I run Razzie Art. I'm an artist. I started it because I received a brain injury, and it was part of my therapy that I did myself. And so now there's art behind me. This is an actual art gallery. My whole entire room is full of art. But that's one thing I do. I'm a Razzie Art is my business. And the other thing that I do now is Mama's Kitchen. And the ask that I'm looking for is to really actually find an investor that wants to come on board and create an actual product for television. So I've already done a pilot series, the first of the series, I should say, the pilot. So it's an actual 25-minute show to go on to TV or Netflix or the Food Channel. So my ask is anybody who may know an angel investor or people that want to come on board to benefit long-term from this venture.
Love it. And I've seen the pilot and it's very exciting. Rayna goes to Jamaica. She cooks in Jamaica with Jamaican chefs. And Rayna, if you want to put your email, you might have already put your contact info in there. If somebody thinks of someone who might want to invest in a culinary television show, maybe getting that onto the air here in Canada. That's great. Let's do that. All right. Who would like to go next with an ask or a give for their business? It's always more nerve-wracking to ask than to give, isn't it? I notice everyone's starting with their give. Go ahead, Cheyenne.
None of us like doing this. Okay? I have something to give you. I'll start with my ask. I am a marketing consultant and I specialize in local independent businesses, and I'm currently crafting a marketing plan. There's lots of that
Cheyenne,
online,
you just
but
froze
not
on
very
us a
much of
bit.
it is specialized. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, just repeat
Am I
that
back?
last sentence.
There's lots online for annual marketing plans, but there's not a lot that's specialized to small independent local businesses. And that's a whole different strategy and challenge base. So my ask is, if you've ever done an annual marketing plan on your own, or you've looked at it, or you're just thinking about it, if you have any feedback on specific parts that are more challenging, things that could block you to doing it, anything like that that you could provide back to me would help me know where to really focus my energy to make sure this guide is as accessible and usable as possible.
So just to recap that, just so we understand, so you're looking for anyone who has created their own annual marketing campaign and they've come up against a barrier. What's that challenge?
Any experience or even intuitive, like, oh, this is why I don't bother with this. Like anything that's your pain point as to why you're like, I'll just wing it. I'll just go off the cuff. I'm not doing that.
Yep. Okay. Valid. And we'll make sure that in a moment you put your email in there so that people can reach out to you. I'm sure you'll get some responses. And go ahead.
My give is, I've seen already a couple of people asking for help with online presence and social media and that type of stuff, or bringing people to your website. I love talking marketing and I love getting to know local businesses. So like, I will jump on a chat with you and we can brainstorm. I can give you some of my professional insights, something to just spark the direction you're looking to go.
Awesome. And a similar related question, go ahead, Cheyenne, you can put your contact info in there. Liz from Lacey Estates Winery says in the Zoom chat, she's asking for help with bringing more people to her website or to their website and getting them to purchase their products. And she owns a small winery in Prince Edward County. So let's throw that open to the group. Some advice some folks might have about getting more traffic to that website, because yeah, that's a tough thing to do. This is a big challenge for any business owner. Things that have worked for you. Anyone who wants to speak to that point? I am going to, Ife, did I pronounce that correct? I know you do email marketing, right?
Yes, I do.
Did you want to, speak to that from an email marketing perspective, how email marketing might push someone to a website, just in a couple of minutes or so? Some ideas?
Sure, no problem. I'd say it depends on the size of her list, because if her list is not substantial, she shouldn't really invest in email marketing at this time. She should maybe use an easier medium like social media to drive her audience to her email list. Afterwards, she can start a promotional campaign to drive people to our website, and she can also use her social media to drive people to our website. I do not know if she's active on LinkedIn, Instagram, or which platform that she's struggling with. But if it's LinkedIn, I was briefly on the platform and I was able to generate 50,000 impressions in my first month there. And I saw a winery brand that also went viral when somebody posted them on LinkedIn. So if she needs that kind of help, I can give her some tips to optimize her LinkedIn post for the algorithm. And then if it comes to Instagram, I can give her Instagram advice, because I used to run an Instagram website earlier this year. I averaged around 230K reels reach, and I was able to grow my audience from like 101 because I was really struggling and confused, and I moved it to 3.7K. So if she needs that kind of help, I can always offer it for free.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And maybe you can put your contact info in there if you might have more than one person reaching out to you. But I mean, we heard her talking about LinkedIn, and that's an interesting thing. When people think about selling or driving traffic, let's not forget about LinkedIn, especially when I think of a winery. I think of people who are, you know, they have to have a pretty high disposable income. They probably have that type of lifestyle. Where are those folks? Well, professionals are the ones that we find on LinkedIn, and they may have, you know, that the capacity. So by all means, don't forget LinkedIn when it comes to your strategy. Very helpful. Thank you so much. Anyone else with some thoughts? Just because I'm assuming this is probably a larger topic that many of us deal with. Any one more person who might want to speak to that and address that for Liz? Go ahead, Cheyenne.
I've worked with a couple of people down in PEC, and there's a whole like microculture going on down there. It's a beautiful environment. So for websites specifically, obviously SEO, search engine optimization. And I know there's a lot of events, there's a lot of cross promotion going on. People are really engaged in the culture there. So if you build that into your website, it's really activate that market that you're trying to get to and bring them into the website, give them some value, something that's really, they're Googling for information about this type of stuff, it will bring them directly to the website.
And I'm just, as you were speaking, I'm actually searching our YouTube channel because we did an SEO workshop here at Weekend, and I'll make sure to put that into the chat. It's only 90 minutes, it scratches the surface, but SEO, search engine optimization, is the key to being found. And I was speaking with a woman yesterday who has a blog, and I was asking her, oh, why did you decide to attach a blog to your website? And she said, because of SEO. Without, like, think about a website, you put it up, it's one and done, unless you change prices or something, right? But a blog, you're always adding content, and keywords are in there that people are searching for. So that's more of like an organic live feature of your website, and that really helps SEO. So if you're not already blogging, you might want to consider it if you don't mind words. Cheyenne, did you have your hand up there?
Yeah, just another caveat for SEO. The way to really optimize that is you have what's on your website. So in your header and your footer, there's specific ways, but also what's on your Google My Business and your social media. If you make sure all of that data corresponds correctly, the Google crawler will love you, and it will make it really, really easy for it to be like, oh, okay, this is a winery in PEC and it's talking about this. So I'm going to give that to anybody looking for that on Google.
Excellent. That's great advice. And I'm putting the SEO workshop that we did into the Zoom chat right now. And by the way, if you missed any of our past workshops at Weekend, they're all there on the YouTube channel. Once you get to that one, if you're interested in that topic, you can click on the YouTube channel and check. There's more than 100 of them there. Great. Okay, I hope that's helpful, Liz. Maybe we'll be hearing a repeat of that similar question, but let's head on to someone else who might have an ask or a give. Just checking the Zoom chat to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Just raise your hand if you'd like to go next. Anyone with something that's been in their way, just maybe stopping them, or you just have maybe a free resource. Maybe you have a really great recommendation for women-owned businesses. Go ahead, Jeanette.
Good morning. I run a massage therapy clinic and spa in Kingston, and I've run it since 2006. And I'm in a place where I need a registered massage therapist. I am turning people away constantly, have been for the last 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. So I am looking, I have a nice group of therapists, but I need a registered massage therapist.
Excellent. All right. Yes, that's and labor shortage is this is a great forum to talk about, hey, I need this type of a hiring. I'm looking for this person to hire. Go ahead, Jeanette, put that into your contact in there. If anybody knows of an RMT, let's pass that on to Jeanette. And perhaps, you know, someone who's a solopreneur wanting to connect with a group of other you know, a collective group of healthcare professionals. Excellent. Thanks for that, Jeanette. Did you have something you wanted to give at this time or offer any referrals, resources, something that's helpful to you in your business that maybe you want to share? You don't have to, but if you have one.
I can't think of anything now, but
we'll let you think about it some more. No worries at all. All right. Anyone who'd like to go next? Who would like to? I'll offer a free resource. I wasn't planning to, but hey, I'll go ahead and do it. Some of you may know that I have a free podcast that people can listen to. It's called Power Your Platform. I'll put a link in there. Yeah, there's over 100 episodes on there right now. I'm a story coach as well as working for Queens. And so I do story coaching, and it's really just free story coaching is what the podcast is. It's helping people to build their marketing story so that they can get noticed. So if it's helpful to you, I'll put a note in there. And so that's my gift. My ask is, what is my ask today? We're definitely always excited to find out who else can benefit from our free programs and services here at the We Can Project. And I think some people are surprised to think that not everybody knows about the We Can Project. So first of all, I'm grateful to those of you who have referred us. And so specifically, just to let you know, the We Can Project serves underrepresented groups of women, which include women in tech, Indigenous women entrepreneurs, women who may have a disability, newcomer women to Canada, women from racialized communities, rural women, women under 40, and females from the LGBTQ2S community. So our free programs and services are really available to any woman in the greater Kingston region, I should mention, and it's Kingston, Belleville, Trenton, Prince Edward County. So if anyone is sort of in those areas and falls into an underrepresented group, then that would be someone who would be able to access, for instance, free business coaching or some of our programs, cohorts. Of course, our workshops are available to any woman entrepreneur who wants to sign up. I'm assuming probably not all of you are from the Kingston area. So yeah, just if I would say that that's something, if you know someone who's kind of struggling, or maybe they're not, maybe they just want to scale, they're ready to grow and scale their business, by all means, reach out to me, and I'm going to put my email in the chat here. And while I'm thinking of it, the other ask I would have is if you're not already on our newsletter list and you'd like to, maybe that's a give and an ask. It's more of a give. I'm offering to show up in your inbox every Monday with some great resources for women entrepreneurs, including funding opportunities. And we know that funding opportunities are hard to find. Speaking of funding, does anybody have an ask around funding? Not that we're going to give you the money, but maybe it's a give in terms that, hey, I received funding from this organization. Maybe you might want to consider like tapping into that one as well. So Chantal says one of her clients is from Pero. Oh, thank you for sharing that. And just as you shared Pero, Chantal, did you actually want to share a little bit about the lending circles that Pero has?
Yes, I'd be happy to share about the lending circles and also about the new $50,000 loans that you can apply for. It's federal government money that is being managed, the application process is being managed through Pero. So Pero is one of my clients, and on behalf of Pero, I work with business women from across Ontario, mostly in Eastern Ontario, helping do business coaching and stuff like that. They find me clients, sometimes I find them clients, and they pay me, so it's free for anybody who joins Pero. There's microfinancing, which starts at a $1,000 point, which is $500 grant, $500 loan, and then it scales up to $5,000 with various levels of grants and loans through it. That involves joining a Pero circle, and I'll drop a link to a half-hour video that I did in August that explains how Pero circles work. The other thing that is the $50,000 loans, if the banks are turning you away, if everybody's turning you away and you need some extra cash, you don't have to go all the way to $50,000, that's the maximum amount. It's prime plus 4% is the worst case scenario for your interest rate, so you're not going to get gouged on interest rate. And there's a process, and one of us from the Pero team would help you work your way through getting your cash flows in order and getting your business plan in order so you could apply for one of these loans. Here, I'm trying to keep it succinct.
Thanks for that. So Pero lending circles are one option. It's a little bit, you have to understand how it works. It's not like just a one and done. It's an ongoing relationship with Pero. So I'm sure Chantal has or will be dropping that link in the chat. Does anyone else have, in terms of like, let's talk funding. I talk to women entrepreneurs every day, so I know this is at the very top of their list. So unless some of you has an ask or a give, and I will pause, we'll continue on funding for a moment, but go ahead. I don't want to barge my way through. So anyone else with an ask or a give, who we've missed, because this is your show. The pregnant pause. All right, so I'll just mention also a fund that many of you are probably aware of, but the Delia Fund is another one that's coming to an end soon, and it is for women entrepreneurs in the southern east, I think it's southeastern Ontario or eastern Ontario. Anyways, the Kingston region is certainly covered, and so something to think about. And I'll put a link to that as well in the notes, because that might be useful to you. We have, I believe that the Canada Digital Adoption Program is still running, and that's, I thought it had ended a couple times, but it keeps coming back. So actually, Cheyenne, do you mind just grabbing the link for that and putting that in the show notes? Because I know it's Canada Digital Adoption. And why I say that is a lot of people come to us, especially if their website's not great or up to date, and asking for a web developer, and then saying they don't have enough money for a web developer. But this Canada Digital Adoption Program helps you with that. And it's up to $2,500 that you can use either to improve your website, or to get some photographs taken, to do a video, to hire a social media manager, right? So these different things that we've been talking about today. Thanks for that, Cheyenne. So if that's helpful to you even, then the Canada Digital Adoption Program is great. I know so many of our clients who have gotten it. And folks, this is not money for other people. This is money for you, and there's lots of money there. So don't leave money on the table, because it's there for small business owners in Canada-wide this time. So no matter where you're connecting, if you're in the country, then that's for you as well. So I saw a question. Where is it? Maybe I did not. Okay, so hopefully Wendy got her question answered about what Paro is. Does that make sense now? Nope. Do you want to explain, Chantal, what Paro is a little bit more?
Sure. Paro started 28 years ago in Thunder Bay. It was a group of women in business who thought they wanted to help other women in business figure out how to start and grow their businesses. And it started, like I said, in the Thunder Bay region. It grew across Northern Ontario, and about 5 years ago, it grew to cover all of Ontario. So we have a team of about 40 women. Half of us are part-time like me. Our businesses are on contract with Paro so that we can do business coaching. They figured, who better to do business coaching than women in business? So Cheyenne, maybe you and I should have a chat, because we really need some help with the marketing people. But I already had my notes, book chat with Cheyenne. Anyways, so we offer things like WeCan does, where we have weekly webinars to explain different aspects of business with guest speakers who are knowledgeable in that area. And it's all free to attend. That's all free. There's the Paro Circles, which is a microfinancing. We're the biggest peer lending organization in North America. We've got over 200 circles that are active and borrowing and paying back loans. We've got periodically we do, I think it's twice a year, we do an event. We did our first hybrid big event last month, where we had about 70 women and a couple of men show up in North Bay, I think it was, or Thunder Bay. No, actually in Thunder Bay. And then there was about 50 of us who were online at the same time. So that was fun. And we do business camps. There's one that's specifically for Indigenous women, and it's to help them break into markets they might not have thought of selling their services and products to. There's another one that takes people who've already reached the 50,000 level in sales, annual sales, to help them go through a business camp so that they can go to the $250,000 in sales. And then there's another one for women who've already reached the $250,000 in sales to help them go to over $1 million. And one of my clients that I recruited about this time last year did that program, the Elevate. Everybody likes to call their programs Elevate. Anyway, she did the Elevate program, and she said her sales in April this year were bigger than her sales January to April last year. So that's the impact it can have. So yeah, free business coaching, business coaching. And it's women and non-binary people. Yay.
Yes, it has been a long time coming, but let me tell you, now that we're started, there's no stopping us for sure. Thank you for that, Chantal. I hope, Wendy, did that answer your question? Okay, a little bit more. And I dropped the website into the Zoom for anyone who wants to take a look. And while you were speaking about that, Chantal, I know you do know about BPW Canada as well, but I would just wanted to let you know, folks know, if you don't know, that there's a chapter coming to Kingston. This is, I don't know if they've ever had maybe they have had one in the past, but Ophelia Rigaud, if you happen to know who she is sort of working very closely with BPW Canada on starting a Kingston chapter. It stands for Business, help me, Chantal, Business Professional Women, BPW.
Yeah.
Do you want to
and-
kind of talk, this is the Chantal show, but go ahead, tell us what BPW Canada is, only because these are great resources that can change your life, or otherwise we wouldn't spend some time.
Okay. BPW Canada is part of BPW International, so we're an international organization. We're I'm a member. We have clubs and affiliate clubs in almost every country around the world. We regularly have international meetings. During the pandemic, well, everybody was like, oh, it's so, nobody to talk to. I was on BPW International meeting women in India and anyways, all over the world. Locally, there was a BPW Kingston, but it folded a few years ago. We're trying to restart that. So people like Ophelia, and we have a few members who had joined the BPW Hastings and Prince Edward, because I'm west of Kingston, who actually live in Kingston but wanted to be part of BPW, so they come to our club. They're getting together to start one in Kingston, and what we have 4 pillars. So leadership is one pillar, learning is a pillar, advocacy is a pillar, and collaboration. So it's as one of the women said, the past president of BPW Canada described it this way: it's like a buffet, right? So you don't have to do all 4 to be a member of BPW. You can pick and choose. So advocacy is nice, but I don't like to cross T's and dot I's and do all the detail work to get a really good resolution up. I love collaborating. I love learning. So I focus on those areas, and that brings me joy. So it does cost to belong to BPW. I'm not sure up to date what the costs are right now. It's under $200, but I can't remember where it is between
Is
170
that like per year or for life?
year.
Per year.
It's,
okay, yeah.
it's per
and
year.
It's a business write-off. Don't forget that.
Yes, I belong to 2 professional associations, BPW and the Human Resources Professional Association. And my membership dues and anything that it costs me to go to an event, I write off against my business.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. We need to be doing that. Okay, great. Thank you for that. So just, some other groups to be thinking of, WeCan is not the be all and end all. I mean, I said that. We've always said that. We're creating an ecosystem of support here. And just, sometimes you jive better with particular groups. So I think it's really important to be aware of what's out there. So thanks for the given for those who've been doing that and helping us with that. All right, any other questions that have come up in your mind, things that might be something that you're struggling with? You want to ask us a question, just can you give me some advice on this, or any thoughts that someone might have with an ask, or maybe you do have it to give. I know some people are working behind the scenes. They have clients too.
I think Charisse had asked about getting started on in the digital world. I think we may have scrolled past that.
Oh,
one.
I totally missed her question. Charisse, are you free? I know you might be with clients, but are you free to share that question again? Oh, there she is.
Yeah. God, what did I even say?
You said your ask is guidance on building an online presence because you're new in the area.
Yeah, so and I guess like with all the restrictions and everything opening up, like there's more opportunity to like see some people face to face, but also like a lot of audience building happens online, right? Like I do my best, I do my reels. I'm trying not to dance like an idiot in front of my camera.
Your reels are awesome, Charisse. If you
Thank
haven't
you.
been to Charisse's page, it's excellent. She does permanent makeup, right? PMU.
Yeah.
Learned that acronym this year from
Nice.
Charisse. Go ahead then. Okay, so you're in the Kingston area. You're
Yes.
looking to really get the word out to new clients using online presence, let's just say, not just social media, but online presence.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Like my strategy basically is like I go like trying to target my ideal client. Like I'll look up real estate agents, gyms, personal trainers, et cetera, and just kind of like run through people, start following people, kind of see who follows me back, and like try do like a DM game and all that kind of jazz. But I've tried some like collaborations with other kind of like tangential service providers. But yeah, just trying to. I was thinking of also like reaching out to like maybe local newspapers or radio stations. So if anyone has like an in or a contact there, just so it doesn't come off as like a cold message that might just be like filtered through by whoever's reading the inbox.
So my give to you, Charisse, will be, if you have time, let's book an hour's coaching call because you're a weekend client. And we can create a media release, which is basically a story about your business. And this is true for anyone who's listening now, but to your point, you're right. The media is not interested in, hi, could you promote my business? Obviously they're not, they're journalists. But if you give them a story that has public relevance and is in the public good, then they'll be very interested in that. And my other tip there is if you can make it seasonal as well. So like right now, everybody's talking about the holidays, etc. So there may or may not be a tie-in with your business, but let's say in January, you know, if you're looking ahead a bit to say, okay, in January, there's going to be not as many stories out there. The media is going to be really digging for stories. How does my business line up with something, you know, that's happening in like culture of Canadian winter, basically, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're going into. But yeah, if you want to book a session, that would be my gift for you. Okay, so someone else who might have ideas for Charisse around creating that. So she's already onto some great ideas: social media, local media coverage. Anyone else? I had an idea and it went out of my head already. What? I don't know what. I'm over 50. That's why. Trying to think of what I was going to say, Charisse. You were talking about, I know what it was. You were talking about collaboration. And to me, when you know a lot about permanent makeup, I don't. So I think there's an education piece about what is permanent makeup and how permanent is it, and what, I don't know, like I only think of tattoos when I think of permanent makeup. Like
it is a tattoo.
Yeah. So it's like, I think maybe something to like a free 1 hour workshop could be online, maybe if it's easiest, just to explain to you, hey, are you interested in what is permanent makeup? You know, maybe you could do like a workshop where people could come and ask questions, because I know you're posting a lot on Instagram, but hey, if they're not following on Instagram, they're missing that. I really find that free workshops it could even be 30 minutes, right? Are a great on-ramp to get people getting to know you, to see your personality, like, oh yeah, this is not only something that interests me, but this is a person I would choose maybe to work with. Then, so that's just a thought. Certainly here at WeCan, that was a big marketing strategy for us as a funnel to get people in through free workshops. They came, they're like, okay, these people aren't crazy, I'll sign up for one of their programs, right? And so it's like a direct funnel of people that want to try things out for free before maybe they commit to a program or something like that, even though everything we do is free. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where does that land with you?
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I'll reach out to you to
Chat.
talk about that more. Yeah.
All right, other ideas though, things that have worked for your business. Go ahead, Cheyenne.
Digitally, strategic wise, I try to focus on two things for my clients. One is value-based, so showing up with your content, providing value, exactly like Kerry was just saying, but also really showcasing your brand and your why. That is what will draw people in, and it's what will connect them to you far and beyond the services and products you offer. And that's why they'll pick you over a competitor. And the second is creating a culture of conversation. So really engaging with the people who are coming to your digital space, whether that's email, social media, on the comments, that type of thing, really showing them that you're there to carry a conversation really helps to activate them into customers.
Yeah, and you mentioned email again, Cheyenne, and I'm a huge believer. Anybody who's coached with me knows I think social media is great, but it's not as effective in in converting customers to paying followers to customers as an email list. An email list goes right to someone's inbox. There's no algorithm. If you push click, the worst case scenario is it goes to their junk or their spam, where they can technically still find it. But in the vast majority of cases, they get that message. That's not true of social media, right? You can talk and talk and talk, and like 2 or 3% of the people who are following you actually see it. So that can be very frustrating. And so I find email, if you had a regular email list and a schedule, like maybe it's once a month, you know, hey, I'm back in your inbox, it's Charisse, and today I'm talking about this aspect of permanent makeup. And whether it's like an education or a tip, you know, you want to, again, like Cheyenne said, be adding some kind of value to the conversation. And so that you're top of mind. If anyone in Kingston mentions permanent makeup, everyone says Charisse, like I have to go to that business. And so the question is, what do you want to be known for? Don't stop talking about it. And email is a great way to also enhance that connection, I would say, on a one-to-one. And again, of course, anybody knows that you can't just add a bunch of people to your email list. That's against the law. So you have to get the approval, the permission of that person. So if you're already got a bunch of clients and you want to put them on an email list, you can reach out to them all individually and say, hey, I'm now creating an email list. Come on over. Charisse, I'm saying all this. Do you even have an email list? Maybe you already do. No, okay. So it's a good, don't be ashamed of it. Most, you know, there's businesses and have been around for 5-10 years and don't have an email list, and or they're not using it. So now's the perfect time to start building it. And I think you can use MailChimp is probably one of those popular tools. I happen to use my own website for email. So I have a Wix a Wix website. It works for me great. And I know not everyone loves Wix, that's okay. But the fact is I do my email right through the Wix website. So I don't need another platform, which I just don't have time for. Ife, you have your hand up there.
Oops. Okay, I think my video turned off. I wanted to chip in concerning the MailChimp because I worked with a beauty brand this past year and they did use MailChimp. Yes, it's quite a good cost-effective option, but if you're really looking to segment your emails better, which is where the money comes from, the email marketing, I'd recommend other cost-effective options like maybe MailerLite or Sendinblue, but MailChimp isn't very good in the segmenting area, just in case you want to scale it in the future.
Right. So maybe you want to put the names of those other companies into the chat there. I know that and are they free? That's the other question, of course. I know good. Up to a certain number of followers or subscribers. Yeah, excellent. Thanks for that. That's really helpful. So yeah, there's lots of options for you, whatever one works for you. If you're lazy like me and you just want to use the email system that's inside your website, you can do that too. And like I always ask people, are you already paying for something? Like in Shopify, for instance, I have a client who sends out her newsletter every month through Shopify because she pays for Shopify and it includes a newsletter. So she's like, why am I gonna, efficient, thanks. Why not just take a look at what you're already got and maybe you're already paying for and see if you can enhance that. The other thing I'll just mention why I love also having it in my website is that when I have a new subscriber, it goes directly into my CRM, right? My customer relationship marketing system. So I don't have to then enter it 3 places. One website's doing a lot for me. So thank you, MailerLite. I thought you said Miller Lite. That's why I asked. And Miller Lite is a beer. And I was like, Miller Lite, really? MailerLite, gotcha, okay. And Sendinblue, I haven't heard of Sendinblue. So thanks for that. People can check out those options. Excellent. All right, keep my eye on the time. So we do have a few more minutes. Does anyone want to add to this? We were talking to Charisse about how to enhance her online digital presence. I'll come back to also this idea. I'm a big fan of either having a blog, a podcast, or a YouTube channel to build your online presence. To me, those 3 platforms are very different than social media, because they permit long form content. Okay, so your blog, and I know many of you have a blog who are on this call, but some of you may like, I don't have the discipline to sit down and type. well, do you have the discipline to record yourself for 5 minutes or even 2 minutes and put it on a YouTube channel or talk into your recording? That's how I do my podcast. If you listen to my podcast, this year anyways, I didn't do it last year, but this year I'm just using my handheld mic, my phone as my mic, because I get it done so much more efficiently and the quality is even better than the one I was using, which was an expensive mic. So, I mean, you can do a podcast for free, you can do a YouTube channel for free, or a blog for free. Those three platforms definitely help to build your online presence, and not just your presence, but the relationship that your customer has with you, because you're educating them to the point. And when it comes to yours, Charisse, I know you're not camera shy. And so I would love to see you have a YouTube channel about tips and ideas about what is permanent makeup and all of these things. And then you can repurpose those in your newsletter or on your social media, right? You don't just have to do it once and leave it on your YouTube channel hidden. You can use those same videos multiple places. So something to think about. Any other thoughts around that, or anyone else with an ask or a give as we're nearing the end of our time together today? Don't be shy.
I'm going to jump in. I'll say to Charisse actually that the email list I would consider a non-negotiable. To be honest, I know that a lot has been said about the email list. Until you actually have an email list, you don't own that contact. I've seen so many people end up in Facebook jail. I've seen so many entrepreneurs end up with their accounts being hacked and taken over, and losing all of their followers through that. So I would just add that having an email list, having a direct line to your audience is a non-negotiable, especially now. So I'll drop that in there. And even if you don't do it yourself, it might be something you need to outsource, but definitely, yeah, absolutely get it done. But I just wanted to share that I'm enjoying this interaction very much. I think all of you ladies are phenomenal. I'm here Googling and checking everyone out as you're speaking, and you keep being phenomenal. My work is, I'm just outside Toronto. So I'm like, oh, all these beautiful Kingston and PEC, and I think I saw someone from Longsborough or something like that. All these places I don't know about. I'm happy to be sharing the online space with all of you, and I look forward to the next time when we get to connect.
Thanks, Hadriana. I was just madly typing there, but then I might as well just say it. Just a little preview that Hadriana is going to be delivering a Mastering Your Money Mindset workshop for us in the new year. It's not going to be January. I think it's March. It's March, actually. We're booking way ahead right now, but definitely looking forward to that, since money mindset is something that a lot of us are dealing with. So stay tuned. She's got a great workshop for us coming up. And I mean, there's a great example of, she's doing a free workshop, and guess what? Hundreds, if not thousands of women are going to hear about her as we promote that workshop. And of course, then there will be those who come to the workshop, right? So, definitely think about that. Jeanette has asked in the chat about starting a blog. And so this is a really great question. So let's chat about that. Anybody who has a blog who might want to share some ideas on that, and then I can chime in afterwards, but I'd love for someone else to lead that.
Hello, everyone. I could share some tips, but I should probably introduce myself. I do apologize for being late.
No worries.
So I'm Stacey. I'm based in Toronto, and I have a government relations and professional development company. And I'm also an author, singer, songwriter, and I'm the chapter president of a US-based tech organization that has chapters in 19 countries. So I started off with a blog for youth. And what I did, because I mentor so many youth from even a younger age, I was always mentoring, giving back. I would spotlight on them and get them to write the content. And then I would write when I can. And it was just themes on like scholarships and just job tips and just different tips that when I was a student, I wish I had that information, where to find resources for internship. It was actually called Resources for Youth. So started that as my first blog. And then for my business, I do have a blog. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to write as much as I should, but it does help with building your digital presence and your online presence, because you're now a content creator, you're writing on topics that may be of interest to people. And then I would share that to like my company LinkedIn page, because I find people on LinkedIn like to read more than people on TikTok, Twitter, and all these other places where it's like shorter attention span. So those are some of my tips with like writing an online blog to get your name out there. And then I started writing for a magazine, actually 2 magazines, which had their own blogs. And that's another way to kind of do some cross promotion with other brands. So if you are a good writer, instead of spending the time creating all this content, you could write for other people and build your name that way.
1000%. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And a couple things that I love that you just said is that you write on this, depending what the blog is, you have a focus. There's a reason that people come there and you're adding value. So that's the question to ask as you start even with the blog is, what is my focus and who is my audience really specifically, and what do they need to know from me, and what would they just keep coming back to hear about? And so, yeah, over to you, Cheyenne. And then I'd love to hear from some of the others who have a blog. If you have a blog, go ahead. I dropped mine in the link, and if it's helpful to others to see examples, and we'll definitely get in the nitty gritty, Jeanette, about platforms, because I'm sure that's a question you have, but go ahead, Cheyenne.
So for blogging from a marketing perspective, the strategy behind that will be inbound content marketing. So it's exactly what Kerry is saying. And it's speaking to people to what they're typing into Google. So it's inbound content marketing for blogging. That's the content you want to produce. One of the greatest free resources for guides and courses for it is HubSpot. And I'm going to drop the link in there. They have a ton of resources. I learned that prior to studying professionally, and it was like such a great foundation for me. It's well worth digging into and focusing on that and giving yourself a great foundation.
HubSpot also has a free newsletter. I know a lot of our clients sign up for HubSpot newsletter. So if that's helpful to you and you would like to, go ahead. Thanks for that resource. Somebody else. So who has a blog and what platform do you use? I think, Jeanette, are you looking like literally for the starting point of where do I go to start a blog, or, okay. Anyone have a thought on that? Chantal, what platform do you use? You have a blog, or don't you?
Yes, I do have a blog. It was originally started on a platform called Weebly because that was super cheap. I had my website rebuilt from the ground up this year to make it as accessible as possible for people with hearing and sight issues. And so I got everything navigated over. So all my blogs are on my news site. And I was just about to drop the link before I said farewell, because I have to go to a client meeting at 11. So
thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Talk to
you.
you
Go ahead
later.
and drop that link for sure. Go ahead. Thank you. I'll mention I dropped my link in there, and again, because I use Wix, Wix has a blog feature, right? So again, I'm paying for Wix, and why would I start one outside of my own website? So that's, again, people can directly click to my podcast. It's all in one place. So Jeanette, I don't know what platform you're using for your website, but if you didn't create it, I would ask your developer, is there a blog feature? Because there is a blog feature in, I think, every single platform out there. I kind of, sorry, what? Oh yeah, thanks. It's not that I'm promoting Wix, really. Honestly, I know Wix is not great for SEO, so there's definitely not good things about it per se, but it's all right. I'm very active on my blog, so I'm hoping that balances out the poor SEO. But the idea is, yeah, so Squarespace has one. Shopify has one as well. Again, that client I mentioned has a Shopify account. She uses Shopify for her blog. So WordPress is another one, very popular. Tumblr, help me out, folks. I'm trying to remember some of the ones. Yeah, this uses Shopify. I'll just write those in here, WordPress. But again, which platform do you use, Jeanette?
I had my website developed, so I'm gonna have to go to them and find out.
Okay, yeah. And so that's a question and to ask, because you want to make sure that they don't control, and you don't have to pay every time asking them to put something up onto your on your thing. Yeah, on your blog. Definitely. Cheyenne says your blog must be linked to your website. Absolutely, because the whole purpose of it is to generate traffic to that website and to increase your SEO so that more people will see it, right? And the more visitors you have, the more Google shows it to other people, as I understand the way things work. So yes, let's do that. And also you can repurpose things. As I mentioned, I have a podcast. Guess what my blog post is about? This week's episode, right? I'm not thinking of a new topic. I'm actually repurposing the same content because I've only got a finite amount of hours in a day for my business outside of my Queen's work, right? So this is something that I do on the side and I have to maximize my time. So I'm all about the time saving hacks, but it is very effective. And so that's something I might recommend. Anyone else with a blog or some tips to share for getting a blog started? All right, maybe some of you are thinking about starting one. It's not a bad idea. All right, so as we wrap up, I'm well aware that our time is up. Are there any final questions or comments as we're wrapping up today? And this is the last time I'll see some of you till 2023. So it's it's exciting, isn't it? We're heading into a holiday season, and I will acknowledge that this is not an exciting time for everyone. And I think I try to be mindful of that, you know, as I go through my holiday season and just to spend some time loving on people. Last night I was at a ceremony at hospice, our local hospice, where we had a Lights of Love ceremony where people purchased a light to remember a loved one. And that just reminded me again that, you know what, this season is not all, you know, bells and whistles for everyone. So just moving through our day with compassion and kindness, I think is something that we can all do. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm truly grateful for it. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter if you haven't, so you can find out when our next events are going to be, including Hadriana's March workshop, which has not yet been announced. You heard it here first, but definitely want to keep in touch. And I would love to add you to that email list so that we can see each other again. All right, have a wonderful holiday season, folks, and we'll see you in 2023. Take care. Bye.